LeFou, channel 347 channel. I'm talking about, because it came up, and I was going to shoot a bit earlier, but it's a bit kind of darker now, and the sun's just going down behind there. But it's kind of going. It's kind of a few minutes ago. It was really stinging. I mean, beautifully. It would have been better to shoot it. So I'm just going to talk about because the subject came up, rambling, and what is rambling? What do I mean by rambling? Well, it's obvious, isn't it? So it's like, you walk into the woods along a path, and then you just might take a left turn into it, and you know where you're going, and then you don't know where you are, and because it came up right with the well, in a month's time, I've got, it's criminal, right? They're turning it into a crime, so I'm kind of huge. I'll be because I ramble. Right? This is what rambling's about. I'm a king of rambling. So, and this is why. I should got quite, because what I'm going to talk about is exactly what I'm going to talk about. The first time it happened to me was when I was about 17, but it came on the back of another kind of rambling, and that was LSD. But I'm going to tell you the second bit first, and then we're going to come back to that. That's how it works. I know where I'm going, but I have no idea where I am. So, because the nature of rambling is walking into the woods, right? But the first thing that comes up when you're on your own in the woods, when you've taken, is there's no one around. I'm the only one here. And then you think, well, in the cities and the towns, and 5 minutes from home, there's like no one around. Anyway, and it got me thinking about that, the criminal aspect of it, because it's kind of, well, they're going to police it, and it's like they won't police that. It won't be unpoliceable. So what's happening is it's a kind of oppression. Apart from a few other things you know about, it's just one more. There's hundreds of them, but rambling's one of them. So it's depression. It's pure oppression. In times of trauma, they'll throw it on. So. What I'm saying is, by walking off the side, we've got people going here. Is that I often stopped right under a tree or by a brook, and I just sit down there, and after the last plane went over, I kind of had this sense of actually being somewhere else, completely else, another dimension. And it lasted a while, but it stemmed from the earlier occasion, and this is what it was, right? Because we're going to talk about LSD. So LSD, this is happened to me back in like 70, 71, 2, I can't remember exactly. It all began because I took a hit of LSD in the pub, but it was definitely walking off the path, right? Put it that way. You're definitely walking off the path, because what happened to me was I was in a pub and someone said, try some of this. I'd never heard it before, and I'm going, yeah, of course I'll try it. What is it? He said, take it, see what happens. And so I said, I'll give you half a tap, because I don't want to, I'm going to jump straight in like that. It's a little bit first, see what happens. Half a tap, give me half a tap. And after like 20 minutes, half an hour, nothing. And I'm going, give me another half, nothing. And then, what I need to say about this is that we're talking, this 70, 71, 72. So, like, I'm the taster, I'm not the maker. I'm the taster. I know what it tastes like. The LSD that was out was 5 times stronger than anything you'll get on the market. And you know, that market is a black market, and it's not on that. I know it's probably there. Like, you know, there's probably someone making that stuff that used to be made, because it's just about getting the right strength going. And but I haven't met that. You'd have to know that the person who did that personally. You wouldn't get it otherwise, because it's not on the market. Well, I haven't had it. I'd be surprised if I kind of hit that one, because anyway, 5 times stronger. And all I want to do is just leave you with an image, because I'm telling you the whole story would take a day, maybe more. I don't know how long, but because this is the beginning to an end, and you know that comes from something else. So you know, this is severely edited. It's just one image I want to get to you, because after get a lot, you know, people, runners mostly. No, it's not true. There's a lot of runners, though, quite a lot. It's like kind of regimented. Well, they will do it if you didn't know. But this is the image. We spent all night in a park mostly, and apart from, you know, the whole thing, which I'm saying is another story. About dawn, you know, I started. We'd all kind of like, you know, it came to a natural end. We were going all the way, and it was like the morning was coming. I'm uphill, and I'm looking at the wood that I was in all night. And I stopped, right, because I had to look twice at this, and it was like, okay, this is where people are gonna go. You know, he's hallucinating. You know, like, yes, you are. He's going to say that. He's hallucinating. But I'm saying to you that I'm not. I'm looking at a tree that's right in front of my face, and I know the tree because I've just been in the park and I've lived next to it all my life. So I'm looking at the line of it. It looks like it goes back into the park there. Anyway. And the branches at the top of the tree, they didn't. I can't get it up high enough. Didn't start. They wound up into the sky, and I'm going. Excuse me. And it will move, snaking up. But it didn't start where this, and that's one of the reasons, because that won't happen. Stop again. It's not strong enough. You get the feeling a bit, but you don't get the whole thing visually. You might do, because we're all different. So we're all different stages, right? So you get strengths depending on what the consciousness level of consciousness is, and on that level everybody's different. There's not two the same, but the same level. They're all different, and snaking up into the sky. So the tops of the trees doesn't stop where my other two eyes said they do. No. And this is why it's not. You can't call that hallucination. You can't. What you can say is that hallucination is everything else. Yeah, true. And so that's the image. I just want to leave you that image, right? Because it's about one of, you know, it's kind of what I'm saying about different dimensions, right? Is that you walk into other dimensions, and the nature of rambling, because of the nature of what it is anyway, puts you in touch with that alternate experience more and more. The more you do it, the more you recognize it, the more it's like a vision. You kind of, you know, if you close your eyes, you try closing your eyes and try thinking of the color black and making everything black on top of the black. Anyway, just thinking and see if you can visualize black. It's very difficult because lots of images come up. They come up naturally. So kind of getting rid of all the pictures and just going into black takes a while. It's not easy. It's not easy. But that's where something else happens. Because what I'm kind of talking about is that, the place where you know it, because it's not something you see. It is, but it's not what you think. It's because it's about your root chakra. Because that's where it's seen. It's felt. It's not seen as such. It's felt, which is another kind of seen. Root chakra. So that's where that's where that goes. It makes sense, right? Root chakra. That's where the root is. The root into the root that joins everything up. And it's there. You can see it on hallucinogenics because listen, that's a bigger one, because once you know what I'm saying about this is rambling, right? Once you know, then hey, unless you what you do is you kind of walk into the woods, right? You've got any sense, you'll turn your mobile off. And if you've got more sense still, you'll never get a chip put in your neck. Because, where am I? It's obvious. But they won't get you if you turn everything off. Just turn it all off. To police that is just stupid. They have to have heat sensors, but it's not simple in the woods. There's animals. So it's like, to police it's just ridiculous. Which is the nature of rambling. So it's once you know that, what I'm saying is that you kind of, the more you do that visualizing of the nature of what rambling is, the more you hit another dimension. And it really is another dimension, because it's not one we normally see. And it's like, but that's only because there is a little hit right at the beginning, and sometimes it takes a long time to get the kind of details on it. You've got to kind of put time into that one. There's no way around it. Because that's what happened. But what I'm saying, because you can call it it doesn't matter whether you call it a good thing or a bad thing. Opinions are interesting because everybody has an opinion. What you got to do is you got to get your own opinion going, and you got to not worry about what other opinions are. You got to drop the lot. Worry, I'm saying worry. You could be interested in what they are, but not worried, because if you start worrying about what other people's opinions are, it's the first step to it's oppression. It's just oppression. It's another oppression you give yourself. So dimensions, right? Kind of rambling and dimensions go together quite a while, especially if you know the woods. And then you tie a few other things together which you might have experienced that you could otherwise find in the woods, because the only thing that I really wanted to add to this was that every hallucinogenic, all of them have got their own flavour. They're all slightly different. They're telling you different things. And so that's the nature of their what they are, right? So like, I'm the taster. Always have been. And the other reason that this was right now, right, was because not anything. Quite by chance, someone just popped me some THC. I haven't had any for a couple of weeks, so but that and rambling and trees that spiral up into the sky, kind of you get taken right on trips. those trips. Well, that's why I'm a rambler, because I ramble. I live rambling. That's why I am. And do I hit another dimension? Oh yeah, often. But what I'm saying is, it's to sense it. You have to sense it, and that's where go and listen to people like Einstein a bit more. See what he says. Don't worry about it. Formula. Formula's like, it's a bit stupidly fucking it's wrongly interpreted. It's just an interpretation. But listen to what he said. He's talking about imagination, and he's talking about energy, and he's talking about dreaming, and he's talking about God as well. It's kind of funny coming from someone who's considered a scientist, right, a physicist or whatever. Anyway, that's so it's an oppression, right? What's happening now is pure oppression, and they're piling it on. And you really, you've got to see the funny side of it, because it's like it's some of what they're saying is ridiculous to the point of absurdity. So I'm doing part of what they're doing. It's kind of about what actually happened. What actually happened is that when I'm talking about back in the early 70s, when I used to do it, there was just no one there. There was no one there. I was the only one. Often, more than often. And what's happening now is that there's going to be fewer than no one still there, because that will take away people boring, people work. But they don't see the absurdity. Well, it's oppression. Right? They're doing it everywhere, and it's kind of going to go, because they've got the tail between the cheeks, and they're pushing it, and you're not noticing. It's worse than oppression, and it's fascism. Get fucking head around that. You won't like it. But it's other dimension. Another dimension. And you have to work that one out.